on Australia's Business Channel. Welcome to In Business.
Thanks for joining us on In Business. I'm Richard Goncalves. Well, networking for any business can provide some serious cash opportunities. And with the expansion of social networking internet sites, the world has obviously become a lot smaller. But for businesses, doing some serious business networking is a bit harder, with security and privacy a big issue, as well as making sure you're networking online in a professional environment. ZaaBiz is a relatively new internet site seeking to meet that need, and its CEO Michael Brecht joins us now to tell us a bit more about it. Michael, thank you very much for your time. Give us an idea of what ZaaBiz is.
Well, ZaaBiz is a social networking platform, as you just rightly explained it. We are a social network for business people, and we've launched it here in Australia about 6 months ago, focusing on businesses in Australia and New Zealand.
So there is a need for it?
We saw a clear need for it. When I started the first talks to some of potential investors and angel investors last year at about this time, we identified a few needs for an Australian business platform itself. The main reason was that there might be the one or the other social platform that is aiming at the social market or at the private market, but no one really took care of businesses in Australia at that time, and so we saw a market niche for that.
So how did you actually come up with the idea?
Well, personally, my background is German, actually, and I moved here 4 years ago. I quickly learned that Australians are the perfect networkers, because there's hardly an event or a function where I meet some new people, business people basically, and don't come across someone that I know through someone already. That was the background to my
Is that because Australia's a lot smaller than the rest of the world?
It is smaller, it is very isolated, and I think Australians rely on very positive networking, firstly. Second reason for launching it here in Australia was that there was no one looking after that market itself.
Michael, let's now talk about what kinds of people are actually using the site, or who are you targeting?
Our target group is clearly the Australian and the New Zealand market, where we find business owners of small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and within the big corporate world interested to join a platform that focuses on business needs. We usually differentiate between three types of members. The first one is probably a very passive member. They come on board, fill out their profile, and through the profile entries they can be found on the platform and then start contacting and networking with others. The second one is the active one. They become a member to actually generate more contacts on the platform itself. And our third model is the integrated member. An integrated member understands ZaaBiz as an online world where to make new contacts and generate business through the platform, but they also join ZaaBiz at certain events. We have events in the major capital cities. We do team up with event providers that host events, and where we are kind of the online world to what happens in the real life.
I'm a businessman. I'm looking to go online to network. I log into your website. What do I see exactly, and what's the process exactly of getting involved?
Well, firstly, you enter the information which is relevant to you and your business, and the more you enter, the better it is for future networking elements.
So what kind of things would you enter on there?
You would enter expertise that you bring along. Say, if you would be an accountant, you would enter expertise about where you're based, how long have you been with your current employer, former employers, how is your expertise in terms of accounting? Like, do you have due diligence experience, some major deals that you've looked after? This information helps you or helps the other members to find you. And say there is a client from, say, Brisbane who wants to contact an accountant in Sydney and find an accountant with due diligence experience. That's how this connection would start coming into fruition.
So is it almost like an online Yellow Pages, but it's condensed a bit?
Well, we have one major difference online, and that was one of the first things I wanted to have programmed into the platform. We actually based ZaaBiz on the 6 degrees of separation theory. So we are able to visualize how you are connected to other members on the platform. So you can really see how you would be connected to someone, say in that accountancy case, how the accountant from Brisbane would be connected to the Sydney person. And then you could use an introduction through a member that is connected between you two and ask, is that really, firstly, a trustworthy accountant to look after my business, or are you better recommending someone else? Secondly, this trust element helps you to grow your network too, because if that person would be connected to someone that you trust, you would probably contact that person directly too.
An example, a working example of some sort of major networking experience that has occurred through ZaaBiz?
Well, I get quite a few feedbacks from business owners who have been on our platform and didn't have the real expertise of how to work in other social networking elements. We have, let's take that accountancy example again, because yesterday I got a call from someone in Thirroul, close to Wollongong, and he said, Michael, through ZaaBiz and through running a group on ZaaBiz about accounting ideas and how to look after small businesses as an accountant, I've actually doubled my client base, and I've got 30 new clients in my area that I can now look after. So that's a very practical way for him to actually generate more business on the platform.
Let's talk about the most important thing, I guess, for your side of the business. How do you make money from it?
We have two types of revenue streams. Number one is the premium membership fee. I talked about those three different types of members. The passive members, they can come into ZaaBiz for free.
Okay.
So that's completely free for everyone to join.
Set up the profile, it's
Set
free.
up the profile and just be there and get connections to you, mate, by other members. We charge a fee of $9.50 per month for an active member. We call them the premium members. And they can use more search facilities. They can actually actively contact other members on the platform.
Right.
And this is the major revenue stream that we have. A second revenue stream, to a smaller extent though, is a sponsorship model for certain groups of expertise. Here, corporates or smaller businesses pay a fee for sponsoring an expert team or an expert group.
In terms of privacy, though, you're putting all this information on a website, or the businessman is putting out information on the website. How do you secure privacy in terms of that information not being tapped by people that's not supposed to be tapped?
Well, firstly, the platform itself is closed, so you can only enter it as a member. You have to become a member, and through becoming a member, you actually sign the tough privacy rules that we have and terms and conditions. So, for example, any kind of spamming or multi-level marketing is not possible on the site itself. Secondly, we have a community management team that looks after profiles, and the third element is actually that our community itself, the business community itself, is quite active in finding out if someone would do something unuseful on the platform, and they kind of give this information across quite easily. So there is a self-regulating aspect to that, and the security is there that the community regulates those things themselves.